The Department of Veterans Affairs faces increased congressional scrutiny over delays in medical care for veterans. We get answers to your questions about repairing the broken VA systems. I'm Angela Ray. This is DC Breakdown. Let's get started.
Breaking through the rhetoric, breaking down the issues. From the nation's capital, this is DC Breakdown.
President Barack Obama has nominated a new leader to head the Veterans Administration in the wake of reports that the agency continues to struggle to care for veterans. At a recent Senate hearing, one VA doctor at the troubled Phoenix facility described her frustration.
The veterans needing care that presented to the ER have survived campaigns like D-Day, Iwo Jima, Chosin Reservoir, Tet Offensives and Counteroffensives, Desert Storm, Kosovo, Croatia, the Battle of Fallujah, and dismal years in Helmand Province. It is a bitter irony to me that I, as a physician, could not guarantee their health and safety within a VA facility in the middle of cosmopolitan Phoenix.
Joining us now to talk about the new VA nominee and the latest problems with the agency is D. Wayne Robinson, President and CEO of Student Veterans of America. Welcome back to DC Breakdown, sir. We're always happy to have you here. All right, from my understanding, we've got 67 cases of alleged retaliation. 25 of those complaints were received in the month of June. So people aren't taking it. People are retaliating. Whistleblowers are coming out.
Thank you for having me. There continues to be issues at the VA, which we were aware of, and I think what's going on now is it's now being uncovered. There are lots of visits that's taking place throughout the 1,700 facilities but clinics that they have, and that transparency that we spoke about earlier is now having issues boiled to the top.
Well, you know, there's one whistleblower who comes out. There's a second one that comes out. But this is getting to be a substantial number of people who are saying, we don't want our veterans treated this way. We work at these facilities and we want to do good work and we want to help, but we are not able to help because of all this other mess.
Well, you have to realize that this has been going on 15, 20 years. And so it was one of those secrets that was out there that many people knew about, but it was such a huge bureaucracy that it was tough to get at. And so now with the media taking a very close look at what's going on at the VA with the pressure coming from the White House, you're seeing these items start to boil to the top, and what we're hoping is that they're being dealt with.
One person who testified before Congress from Los Angeles, the Veterans Affairs, and here's what he said: I was labeled a rat. And he said that there's a cancer that's within the VA's leadership that I think you and I have talked about as well. But he is a whistleblower. He was called a rat. I mean, my goodness.
Yeah, that is totally the wrong culture. And so in speaking to leaders at the VA, the one question that continues to be repeated is how do you change the culture? And you're going to have the right leader, you're going to have the right policies, procedures, and then you're going to have to root out the bad apples and deal with them. And some of it will have to be public to show others that are on the fence about going left or right what happens when you go down the wrong road.
Yeah, and of course Phoenix is where a lot of this really started. Yes. And there are workers there who are recommending that physicians not come to that facility because it is just so overrun with just bad stuff happening that they're not going to stay.
From in speaking to senior leaders at the VA, they were appalled at what was going on at Phoenix. But then when you go to other places in San Antonio, it's totally different. It's on the other end of the spectrum. So what they're striving to do is how do you make Phoenix into the facility in San Antonio and some of the other parts of the country that's the question for new leadership.
You know, I did some research on just the background of the Veterans Administration, and I was appalled. I've got 5 pages here of problems that date back to, hold on, 1921, when the Veterans Bureau was first started. It closed down because it was corrupt. It was abolished within 9 years. And then in 1989, President Ronald Reagan elevated it to a cabinet level position. But from 1921 till July 15th, 2014, the Veterans Administration has always been, it just seems like we give our veterans just a second thought. What is that?
That's excellent research, Angela.
Thank you, sir.
If you go back to even after World War I, and we're at Student Veterans of America, we rally around the GI Bill, right? Vets in education. So the original GI Bill, the Service and Soldiers Readjustment Act of 1944, it really, although we say that it changed, it created the middle class, it was really put there for vets, so that what happened after World War I wouldn't happen in after World War II, because after World War I, vets camped out on the White House lawn, and they used other vets to move them along. They used tanks, and so some of the same ones
it was
that
awful.
fought. Yes, it was. And so there's been a history of problems at the VA for a long time. Vets have known about it, and we're hoping that now we can get at the root of a lot of these issues.
Some people think that the veterans hospital portion of it should just go back to treating those who are coming home from war and not handle, let's say you were formerly in the military, you go to the VA. No, instead have you go to a private physician. What do you think about that? Would that in any way help? Because the problem, this is an unwieldy organization. When you look at the number of clinics and hospitals and the number of people that are employed by the VA, it's unwieldy.
Well, it is the biggest healthcare system in the world. The care that's delivered, however, is also some of the best. The issue is the number of vets. So as medical care has improved, you have vets living longer, you have vets that survived wounds in Iraq and Afghanistan that they never would have survived previously, which increased the number of vets waiting for care. So the only other issue, vets would come back and say, well, you promised us this when we joined. You should have projected this out, and so now this is another promise that's being taken away from us. So it's very prickly issue among vets.
Well, if we don't take care of our veterans, I don't know what to say about this country. I really don't. It is so appalling for me. It's just, all right, let's move on. Let's talk about hopefully something positive.
Okay.
And it's that the president has nominated someone to take over after General Shinseki resigned. Bob McDonald.
Yes.
The last time you were on the show with me, we talked about what if Shinseki got replaced? What type of leader do we need? And here's what you said.
Whoever takes the helm will, I can tell you the attributes they'll need to have. So some of those attributes are, they're going to have to step in and put in systems that include feedback loops in every program. So unfortunately, with government programs, they are good ideas. They're launched, they're funded, and then years later, or down the road, we find out, no, when you actually need to change the program, they're not very entrepreneurial in nature, and so the entrepreneurial way to be able to do it would be to put systems in that reward the truth. Right, that creates processes that are transparent. That is not what you normally find in the government. Transparency and feedback loops.
All right, so you were spot on. The president has nominated somebody who is a former business person, someone who has entrepreneurial experience. Bob McDonald. Let's talk about Bob.
Yes. Well, we're happy with the nomination. We came out in support of the new nominee of Mr. McDonald, and hopefully soon Secretary McDonald. And
Let's talk about his background.
I've actually had a brief conversation with him. I mean, he's from Procter & Gamble, so he's run companies before.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
So 5 years military experience, West Point graduate. So he understands both the business aspects of it and also the veteran aspect of it. So that's very important.
Do you think the nomination's going to sail through?
Right now, from what we're hearing, it would. We're asking that that it happens swiftly, and so from both sides of the aisle, we've not heard any issues as of yet.
Let's say he is, he gets the thumbs up, which we know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
What's the first thing we think he needs to tackle? Because it sounds like it's the leadership to me.
The first thing that's got to happen is you have to find those bad apples and you have to deal with them, because they're rooted in processes that's been there for years. And I'll tell you that a number of the workers that were calling, the leaders that were causing some of the issues, have been there for a long time. Mm-hmm. And they've seen leaders come and they've seen leaders go. So I don't think they believe.
Well, and maybe this is for those of us who've never worked for the federal government, but there's this whole big thing out there that we think the federal government is this huge bureaucracy and that it's very difficult to fire somebody. So these people are just like, there's no term limits,
Yeah.
They're just there. Yeah. And so there's going to have to be a change, as you say, in the culture, in the process, because these people who have been leading the VA have been leading it down the path of unrighteousness, to quote the Bible. Threw a little Bible in there for you.
Quote. We just supported a bill that gives the incoming secretary the ability to be able to move people along. And the issue, Angela, has been that before now, when they would move one person out of leadership, they move them to another position. Mm-hmm. So it was a lateral transfer instead of out of the system.
Well, D. Wayne Robinson, President and CEO of Student Veterans of America, we're always happy to have you here and offer your insights. And I think President Obama must have been watching you the last time we were here, because he nominated exactly the type of person that you suggested. So I'm just going to shake your hand, tell the President I said hi.
Thank you, Andrew.
All right, thank you. Ahead on DC Breakdown, defending the Commander-in-Chief. We'll explain after a break.